Go ahead, Uncle Hotep.
First of all, I'm glad to be back on the forum. You know what I mean? My points is up. I'm back. I ain't gonna cause havoc anymore. You won 88. You got me suspended, thrown in the bushes, but I'm back. Now let's talk about Ben Carson. You know, people are going crazy because he said poverty is a state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is he right or wrong? I believe he's right. Poverty is a part of it. Part of being in poverty is a state of mind. You have to change your state of mind to get out of poverty. Is he right or wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think to a degree, poverty is a state of mind, but it also, I think what Carson's trying to do is to delegitimize poverty in this country by saying something like that. It's a very simple take. I haven't read the whole thing, but by saying it's just a state of mind, it gives this image that anyone can change that. I don't think that's a realistic concept in this country.
If you can believe, you can achieve. You can believe, you can achieve. I think he's trying to say, it's very easy to get stuck and comfortable in a state of poverty. You see what I'm saying? I think you have to have a mindset to want to get out and get better in your life. Like some people will just take what the government gives them, and they'll be just comfortable with their life. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but if you want to get out of poverty, you have to change that mindset. That's why I think he's going.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a part of it, but I just think it's oversimplification. And considering the very real poverty in this country, if it was just a state of mind, there wouldn't be such prevalent poverty in our country.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, is it prevalent? Is because American poverty isn't like worldwide poverty. It's not like Mexican poverty.
No, but that doesn't. I don't think that on the ground. I don't think that changes things for people. Obviously, no, there isn't. We're not. Are they still in the United States? Is there still the concept of a? I don't know.
Because I'm just saying, American broke ain't broke. You know what I mean? Because these people the immigrants that come over here illegally, they come over here worse conditions and they live in worse. I mean, they don't live in the same American lifestyle, but they grind it out for years. See, they have the mentality to get out of poverty. Like I think there was a story a couple weeks ago. There was this Mexican family, and they had one child, and the son, and he got accepted to every Ivy League school, and they only had like a 1-bedroom apartment. That's grinding, and they grinded, and now he's going to be out because they had that mindset to get out. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes you gotta grind in America. America ain't gonna give you nothing, man.
There's nothing wrong with grinding. There's nothing wrong with having a positive mindset. But let's be clear, there are man-made roadblocks to keep others from being on the same playing field as others. Period. And we all know for a fact that it does exist where these roadblocks come from. You could say, if you dream it, you could achieve it. But yet, me and Mr. Billy Bob goes for the same loan, and we have the same credit score. He gets approved for the loan, but I don't. What kind of bullshit is that? Come on.
Well, I mean, these same immigrants that you, I suppose, hate so much.
I don't hate them.
Here we go. Here we go.
I don't hate them.
Bullshit.
You'll be the first to say, immigrants are this, that, the next thing. And then in the same breath say, well, look what they can do but we can't do that, or Black Americans can't do that.
My premise is, I don't hate the immigrants. I'm saying if I was in their shoes, I would do the same thing they're doing. But as me as an American citizen, I think I should be able to look out for my own well-being as well. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't, those two goals with what the immigrant goals and the American citizens goals aren't one and the same. But I'm not blaming them for doing what they're doing. I would do the same thing. So I don't hate them. Get that out your mouth, man. You can put words in my mouth. But I'm saying if Black Americans took the initiative, that some of these immigrants come over here and do.
Oh, come on, man. Really? You gonna bring that up? Come on, son.
How can you explain it?
You know what it is. Stop. You know what it is.
I do know what it is. It's the Black Americans keep falling for the victimization and keep falling for the white liberals. That's what it is.
When we had our shit in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, guess who burned it down? And it wasn't us. Guess who destroyed it? And it wasn't us. Every time we have something, every time we congregate and have something nice, always outside forces come.
You're gonna fall down. Don't judge a man when he falls down. Judge him how he gets back up.
It's a fact, man. You gotta admit it.
Japan got right back up. You know what I'm saying?
Who helped them? It was us, right?
Did they get back up or not?
Exactly. The only time it's reconstruction projects is if the U.S. is getting something out of it. The only reason we haven't begun reparations because they're getting nothing out of it. They're like, oh, why should we get reparations? The Jews got reparations. The Indians got reparations. The Japanese got reparations. Oh, Black Americans? Oh, no. It's not feasible for you to get reparations, though. Come on, son. They don't want to even to play a field. That's all it is to it.
White man doesn't do nothing, man. I don't know why you even talking about reparations.
Like I said, even if it doesn't come down to reparations, right? Even if it's not reparations, they will never allow the Black community to get to a same point that a rich white community will have. They will not allow it. Watch. If I magically came up with $100 trillion worth of gold, and I got a bunch of Black economic people together, and I said, listen, I want to have a Black community with black empowerment and Black builders and Black businesses. I bet you the next day there'd be a bunch of white companies gunning for us.
I don't know.
There'd be a bunch of white companies trying to tear us down.
Come on, man.
It's true. Think about it. You think they're gonna let a Black community survive in America that's rich as them?
The concept of what? I mean, there are wealthy Black communities in this country. You realize that?
I'm not talking about just wealthy Black communities. I'm talking about entire cities, entire enclaves that rivals their power structure. They're not, and then the fact of the matter is, America is not going to allow. And then, you know what? Especially if the black town says, you know what? We're not going to share anything with white America. We're not going to share anything. We're not going to share our resources. We're not going to share our wealth. We're not going to share anything with y'all.
Why is that necessary in the first place?
Because every time somebody shares something with America, they always get the short end of the stick at the end of the day. Like look at how America treats like the Middle East. They treat the Middle East like shit. You know, they make deals with terrorists and then turn around and says, "Oh, we don't make deals with terrorists, but yeah, you turn around and arm their enemies. You make terrorists out of the kids you kill." It's like I said, if they get nothing out of the deal, they're not gonna fuck. They're gonna try to destroy you. They're not gonna fuck with you, or they're gonna try to destroy you. Either way, they're not gonna allow black people to get on that same level. Somebody's gonna.
The thing is, though, man. I mean, there are black cities, there are black communities, there are black towns, counties, everything across the country.
I'm talking about.
You want to segregate just for the sake of segregating. I don't think that,
because you know what's funny? Like I said, we as black people have tried to
You can't keep pointing to like Black Wall Street and stuff that happened pre-segregation as your only basis for what the fuck is going on in this country.
It's a case study. Anytime there's a black enclave, it gets burned down by outside forces. That's not a coincidence.
No, dude. No.
It's not.
I mean, if you want to look, there's fucking black cities across the country. There's black counties, there's black towns.
Tell you. You say black cities, but like I said, do we know of them on the next level that they rival Microsoft and trillions of dollars? No, they're not gonna allow them to get that big.
That's not even realistic.
You're talking about towns and cities, but I'm talking about an entire fucking like half of the fucking nation, half. Like say if we had like 5 states, right? 5 states out of the 50. Say if you have 5 states out of the 50, it was majority black congressmen, black police officers, black firefighters, senators, lawyers, right? And say if those 5 states had $1 trillion evenly, and then the black states turn around and said, we're not gonna economically deal with white people, period. There will be somebody out there trying to tear that place down. It's fact. It's always been facts. We cannot have a black nation here. We can't. Y'all laugh. Y'all look at me crazy, but I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at history.
Hotep, is this one of your disciples?
Huh? What happened? What?
No, you can't. Listen, you can't have a black nation within America because black people don't trust each other. It ain't got nothing to do with the white man. It's how blacks interact with each other.
I must have missed the part where a black nation within America became the actual goal. Like I didn't know. This is all new to me. That's what we're trying to do now.
I'm just saying we tried to have our own shit, and motherfuckers keep coming in blowing it up. It's not our fault. Is it our fault that we?
I see. Is that your argument against his bootstrap argument?
Now you know what it is. My argument is the whole thing about bootstraps. When everybody white says, "Oh, pull yourself up by your bootstraps," it's easy to say that when you have all the resources and finances intermingled in your community, but when we don't have any, how am I supposed to put on my bootstraps? I ain't got a goddamn boot. Come on,
all right, stop right there. Now that's a good argument. Hotep.
Man, you got a boot, man. You guys just as big as these immigrants that come over here. I mean, I'm tired of hearing it. The shine always makes excuses. It's 2017.
One thing we ignore with like immigrants who come over here, and I mean, not your poorest, person from Central America or Mexico, even perhaps, but a lot of. Are we talking legal or illegal immigrants? Just to be clear here.
Both.
Okay, so both. So, when I think about legal immigrants and illegal, or I don't even know if they're fucking illegal, who the fuck knows? But, I think about people who have come over from, Arab countries and even West Indians or Africans. A lot of the times when they come over here, they're already really educated and they have a foundation and a background for business or for professional studies. So, I mean, they have that right off the back. I bet, that you would just mention that kid's parents, who the kid he got into Harvard and, wherever else. I wonder what his parents' background is, like what their professions are and what their parents' professions were. Because a lot of times you'll find that,
the mom was cleaning toilets and the dad was cutting grass. Man, what are you talking about, man? Come on, man.
But what did their parents do, or what did they do in their home country?
I don't know.
You see what I mean? Because a lot of times, like, we don't think about, what does it cost to get to America? $10,000, $20,000? What does it take to get a green card? It's thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, decades. I think that's what we don't look at when we talk about immigration, whether legal or illegal. These are extremely driven people that come to this country.
I'd actually dare to say that when we talk about immigration, it's almost exclusively illegal immigrations from south of the border. I think that's just what people are talking about. Whenever, like, if you can bring up immigration and the response is build a wall down south, I think that kind of signifies that we're specifically talking about illegal immigrants from Mexico.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's the reality for non-urban southern people in this country, but living in the Northeast, generally, I mean, are there people from Central and South America? Yeah, but the majority of immigrants that you see are either refugees, have visas, or like green card holders who naturalized through the process. And those three groups, within them, the majority of them come from professional backgrounds, are well established. They might not be when they first get here, but after a decade or two, they're doing the American dream thing. So I don't think we should ignore them in the conversation about immigration, whether it's legal or illegal. Immigrants are, whether we like it or not, what made this country what it is. And to ignore and block people, I don't think that's the way to go.
Do you think we'll ever reach a point where we challenge that melting pot concept that we have of America, to where we say, okay, that's done with. We aren't a melting pot. We don't want to accept everyone in anymore?
I think if that happens, I think the country will have lost its purpose.
Do you think it's a sustainable model to just be open to all who?
I don't think it's sustainable to be a closed model either. You look at countries where
Japan is working.
Is it though?
Yeah.
I don't think Japan. That's a bad example. You should have went with Israel. Don't go with Japan. Go with Israel. They actually they actually DNA test in Israel. It's a good counter.
And you want to know what? Japan has a big problem with the Fukushima power plant.
Japan has a lot of problems. Japan's actually not doing as well as their economy would lead you to believe.
Japan has a lot
birth
of
rates are
problems.
declining. They're not even populating their own country. Come on, son.
It's not a hellhole.
No, it's not. Some places
they're y'all acting like they're turning into the Philippines or some shit like that, man.
But no one's saying that. But this is a country with extreme economic anxiety, extreme their whole economy is fucking whacked. Their wages, their jobs, their purchasing power, the wealth gap. And then the biggest one, which has been written about millions of times since I was born, is the aging of their population.
Yep. So
that's the same thing that America faces. It's the same thing that Europe faces. So to say that, having a closed society is a good thing, no, it's not, obviously.
That's a cultural thing. If they would stop looking at that anime and looking at that goddamn anime, they would get to sleeping with another sex.
Wow. It's not just Japan, though. It's every advanced economy. It's so fucking expensive for children.
Because this propaganda has been forced on them. You know what I mean? From Hollywood, they've made the family not cool anymore. You know what I'm saying?
What's propaganda?
It's economics, stupid.
What propaganda?
You can listen. You have to make sacrifices if you're going to have a family. Just because you have 3 kids, you can't get that Beamer anymore. People are choosing the Beamer instead of the 3 kids. You see what I'm saying?
It's fucking expensive.
If you could do it again, would it be the Beamer?
Beamer's expensive.
Is it the M6 or the kids? Tell me.
The kids. See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. You will do nothing better in your life than creating the next generation. But this has been wiped from your mind because Hollywood and everything, all that other BS thinks you grabbing that M6 is the greatest thing you ever do in your life.
I don't think you can subscribe. You can't place that on every country in the Western world, in Japan, and this is happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah, it's true about that.
And look at the housing prices in Japan. Those people are living in like fucking shoeboxes.
Yeah.
You can't expect them to raise fucking 3 kids, 5 kids. This isn't the 1930s. It's not. And it's about economics.
You gotta make sacrifices, man.
I'm not making sacrifices for no kid, man. You serious right now?
He's actually right. You do have to make sacrifices.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, the economy is so fucked up. Is it really financially feasible to take care of a kid when you can't even take care of yourself right now?
The answer is
immigrants are doing it.
The answer is, why are you having kids then? That's the real answer.
I don't know. I ain't having no kids now, do I?
Yeah, but society's a lot easier just to skirt that issue and say, well, people are going to make bad decisions, so let's just deal with the problem.
Not if Pence has his way. There will be no more problems.
I think I think abortion's been proven to benefit society in a bunch of ways. So you can't really argue against that aspect of it. But if the large enough percentage of the country don't want it, or don't want to fund it at least, then I mean, it is what it is. That's how democracies work. You elect these people, and that's how it goes.
Crazy.
Elections have consequences, I believe the phrase is.
Yeah, who said that again?
I believe Hillary said that.
Yeah, well, she had a point.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Trump's probably not going to go that far, but people want Trump out, and Pence is. Pence is definitely, there's no squaring or middle ground with him on abortion.
Let's make a salient last point about immigration. You know, the reason that the U.S. doesn't have to worry so much about our aging population of baby boomers is because of immigrants. You know, it's the immigrants that are going to take care of your parents. Those are the nurses. Those are the doctors. Those are the people going to be taking care of everything.
I've seen, is the argument for the upside to immigration or lax immigration a rising tides lift all ships kind of thing? Because I have yet to see how it specifically helps African Americans. Like, it seems like adding more low-skilled workers to the workforce actually hurts African Americans.
They're not all low-skilled, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but adding more workers in at any rate to compete side by side with African Americans who face additional discrimination.
Because there's going to be a deficit in workers.
Doesn't that seem like a good thing to a marginalized demographic that has a hard time finding work because of their color?
I think that's a societal and cultural issue. But the thing is, it's not just about Black America.
Well, for some of us, it is.
Americans are also going to be reaping the benefits of having people to do these services and jobs.
Well, that's what I was asking. Is it just like a rising tides lifts all ships? Like, it's making America better. So even if it's not specifically benefiting Blacks necessarily, it's still benefiting them as Americans.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, I think you can have it both ways. Because
I'm not saying it'd be a net gain for Blacks to not be against immigration, but I don't see how it necessarily is for them or in their interest to support it wholeheartedly either.
Well, I mean, Blacks are immigrants, aren't they?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I believe part of migrating involves voluntary movement.
No, I didn't mean in the case of African Americans. Sorry, I know some African Americans really consider.
Yes, please clarify it.
Black on this forum, but in the larger African sense.
Yeah, and they do pretty well, actually. They do pretty well.
So, I mean, the one thing that I always look to at immigration is economic. So, I
don't know. It seems I get why the GOP is against it. It's the way our democracy is set up. It's bad for them to let people in who are more than likely going to vote Democratic at some point.
Yeah, I mean, politically, it's bad for them because they haven't been able to embrace
GOP. First of all, the
GOP,
GOP wasn't against immigration. Trump was against immigration.
That's hilarious.
Jeb Bush. No. Hold on. Let me speak.
His
Jeb
wife
Bush
is Mexican, right? His wife is Mexican.
Brought up illegal immigration. They wouldn't have jumped on the wave unless Trump did and got popular. They would have just went along. Just remember, the Republicans was the ones that got these illegal immigrants over here so they can get the cheap labor back in the 80s and 90s.
I see. You're spinning the amnesty from Reagan thing. I got you. Yeah, I'm with you, Digger. Yeah, we'll go ahead and ride Reagan out on this one.
I'm for real, man. Listen. They've been coming over here a long time, and the Republicans is the one that brought them over here for that cheap labor, just so they can get a whole bunch of people to cut their grass.
So what you're saying is the GOP is not actually against immigration, legal or illegal. It's all Trump who has a hard time with people entering
because the populace has changed. I mean, Trump has awakened some people that are like, hey, man, because you see, the white man's smart, man. See, the African American is thinking like, hey, well, they can come over here. The more brown people, the better. But see, the white men know. First, these immigrants are going to take the Negroes' jobs. And after they take the Negroes' jobs, then they're going to take the white man jobs. But see, the white man's like, oh, let me stop this right now. See, some of us, like, of course, the Hoteps think like, hey, man, we already know it. You can't keep letting these people over here. You have to have some regulation on it. You can't have this anybody that can make it across the fence come over here. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some regulation. But the Black Americans is the last hired and the first fired. And once these guys get over here, they'll hire them first before they'll hire Black Americans because these guys work for cheaper.
Exactly. And the company always wants to cut costs.
But if it proves to be a net benefit for the economy as a whole, which is what we were talking about earlier, it's still, a net positive for African Americans.
Have you seen this net gain of the economy?
There's I think there's a study like almost weekly on how immigration actually helps the overall economy. Like,
where?
That's like a bad point to even argue. Like, it's not. Trust me, if it was good, I'd be arguing. Trust me, I would be with you if it held up even a little bit. It doesn't have to hold up all the way for me to ride with you, but if it's been completely debunked, then you just gotta let it go, man.
I don't see the net gain. I understand that, like they add to the economy. I understand that, but they also put a burden on the economy as well.
It's about there's anyone who tries to say there's no downsides is full of shit. But is it a net positive is the real question. Like, you can go back and forth over they go to hospitals whenever they have an emergency, and taxpayers foot the bill for the ER. You can go through all of that. They have children and whatever, anchor babies. You can go through all of that. But if it's still a net positive having them here, then there's really no argument.
But why do you? This is what I don't understand. And people, I don't know why. I mean, I don't understand this. Like, if you have a country, you should have a plan for a country. And if that means you have to have your native populace make more babies, then that's what you got to do. I don't think the easy way out is to import people.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way because they don't want it to work that way.
No. You said a whole lot. Like, when you use a very simple word, four-letter word, you use make. That's a very big thing. Make your populace have more children. Explain exactly how you do that.
The same Hollywood that made the populace not want to have children, you can do the reverse side. Come on, man. You guys
I don't think Hollywood really did. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think what you're trying to cite as a cause for the.
Well, how do you explain it? Well, how do you explain it? How can you explain the culture to the South of ours has no problem making
There's actually a lot of studies that show that as nations begin to prosper, the child birth rate declines.
Because everybody's busy making money.
No, I think when you're poor, having more working hands or more opportunities by having more children for someone to be successful is a thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you're telling us
I'm
Black
sure there's some actual
America is
science to it.
poor.
I'm sure there's some actual science to why rich nations have fewer children than
But
poor
Black
nations.
America isn't doing great. So why is our population stagnant?
We're African Americans have a unique situation, and I think we're kind of just numbed. We're kind of Novocaine, to quote Malcolm X. Like the safety nets, the social safety nets, really kind of just leave us hanging in limbo, not realizing just how bad our situation is. But I agree with you. It is pretty shitty for African Americans. We're definitely getting the short end of the stick.
Yep.
100%. I actually
Our
made that
population
point.
has grown it's been like 12-13%. This has been for a few decades now.
They keep saying it's 12-13%, but then I hear people saying that number is like not really the truth. From what I hear, I keep constantly hearing that. Like I think it's more than 13%, but
You know why people think that? It's because our political clout is completely like disproportionate from our actual percentage of the population. Like when you talk to people from outside of America, they think it's just black and white. Like they would think it's almost 50-50, like, or 60-40. Like it's we have way more political clout than our numbers should grant us. Like Hispanics should have way more say, and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that we take for granted a lot too, because we are shit on so heavily and we are owed so much. It's easy to gloss over things like that.
Yeah, and I think another thing I'm pretty positive I've seen statistics where our birth rate is higher than obviously white Americans, but less than Mexican or Hispanic Americans, which I don't know, but that is something that is real.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we're more than X amount of the population or whatever, unfortunately.
I think African Americans need to really get a clear idea of what it is they're specifically asking for. We're asking for ourselves, like what we want the state to do or stop doing. Like, because it seems like everyone has their own idea, and that Black Nation stuff, just don't mention that again. Just let that go. We don't need a Black Nation. We don't need a Black Nation. Just let that go. It sounds real bad. Just don't do it. Just keep that in your head. It sounds terrible. Keep that in your head, man.
What do you mean it sounds bad? I don't understand what you mean it sounds bad.
You want to carve out a Black nation within another nation. We should just let that idea go.
But you know what's funny? Nobody said nothing when the Indians have shit.
What?
Nobody says nothing when you go to Chinatown.
Oh, you want to be granted territory?
Yes.
In the U.S.
But also, you know what's funny? But you know what's funny? Nobody says nothing when you go to Flush in Chinatown and there's nothing but just Asians. Nobody says shit. But we can't have a Black neighborhood. Oh, God forbid. We can't have a black territory. God forbid.
Like
just let it go, man.
Yeah.
No, never.
And I'll tell you, at least here in California, the Indians aren't doing as hot as you think. They're really not.
It's sad. I heard.
Yeah, a white man is a crafty thing. You got to be careful when you're dealing with him.
Yeah.
If I'd like to see the NAACP, hopefully they go in a different direction after removing their president or whatever they did, replaced. I don't know if he's been replaced actually, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good thing to aim for, and I think, what you pointed out with having a vision, it's not solely Black America that has that problem. I think it's all groups within this country, and especially right now, there's just so much confusion of where we're headed and what's next, and it's a really difficult time in our country's history,
especially for Blacks, because we do have like a cultural, I don't call it a problem, but a cultural hurdle too to overcome. Like it's definitely there's definitely some aspects of African American culture, not to be confused with Black culture, that hinders our advancement. We really need to really reshape it and become more pro education.
Mhm.
Because like the only real difference I can see between Hispanic, Black, and Asian Americans is culture, and Asians are doing phenomenal. Like phenomenal.
Asians are doing phenomenal because of education, but at the same time, they are the model minority in a way. And you know, it's funny. You know, it's funny. You got to really look at them like not every Asian is treated equally.
Well, that's actually my point. It's cultural. Like, yeah, you know, like Japanese immigrants aren't treated the same way Cambodian immigrants are. Absolutely, 100%. But it's cultural. I think I think we need to really like get to a point where we can have honest conversation about the difference between cultures and freely admit that people are different. That like equality needs to be, you know, not used as freely or as loosely. It's not really that. It's not even a real thing, in my opinion. But cultures are different, and the people within those cultures are different. And it wouldn't be such a bad thing to assimilate some of the good practices from other cultures and make them part of your own.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with people taking things from other cultures. That's fine in a way.
How do you feel about cultural appropriation? What's wrong with
And I guess I was like I was about to finish.
Oh, go ahead.
I was about to finish that some things should be sacred to other cultures that you should not touch. That's like a black man wearing a yarmulke and the locks going outside talking about I subscribe to the Jewish faith, knowing full well he's not Jewish. You know?
Why though? Why should they be sacred?
It just is. It's not.
That's not good enough. It just is. You need an actual reason. Like,
okay, that's like
the argument for it.
I'm trying to make a comparison because you don't want to go to somebody's house and then sit on their couch and then be like, oh, I just found it like that. No, you want to
wait, what? No, I'm saying
you don't want to. It's. I think sometimes when like say if you take something for somebody else and you don't acknowledge that you took it or you acknowledge that it's theirs, it's stealing. It's outright stealing.
Like, I kind of find the idea of things belonging to a culture to be kind of silly in and of itself, but I get it. Like, who do you ask permission to take something or use something from another culture? Like, is there like a council for each culture? Like, it's just a very like hazy thing. And I understand it's real big because we don't want white people with cornrows acting black. I get it, but like, who owns a culture? Like, who does that? Like, how does that work? Who has the rights to a culture?
The Indians own their own culture.
Do they? I mean,
I'm not gonna go outside.
You're not going to, but can you?
I'm not
a lot of people that pretend to be Indian.
I'm not gonna go outside in traditional Indian garb talking about I'm Indian. They're gonna look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
I don't know, man. It's just
I think it's a more sensitive issue when there's money involved.
That might be true. That might be true.
You know, I think there's another factor when you look at the history of this country and the world where you have essentially white societies dominating people and white supremacy and the ugly history of racism. And I think that all makes the whole thing that much more sensitive.
I think, let me try to expand on this. If we are talking about, you know, moving forward as a species, isn't cultural appropriation just part of the game? Like, isn't that just eventually, if we move to an all one culture kind of thing, isn't that just a natural progression for all the best or likable or desired aspects of each culture to be
some things that should be
adapted by everyone?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I don't think we're there yet, and I don't think we'll...
Now you think it's just a cash grab?
Yeah, I think it's a cash grab, and I think there's just such an ugly history of racism, especially in America.
I was just about to say, the American history just makes a lot of things so dirty.
Yeah, like, you know, even to the point where, you know, some Cinco de Mayo celebrations can you kind of get that that's not really right. And the same thing with, things like blackface and just a lot of horrible shit in our society.
Yeah, we have a real.
There's cultural appropriation, which is somewhat fine some ways, depending on who takes it and who uses it. And then there are times when it's outright a mockery.
All right, let's be a little honest. It's really a problem when white people do it.
Yeah, probably.
Like
not just white people. When
like if black actors or comedians dress up as a white person, it's nowhere near as offensive. Like it's just white people can't really do that kind of thing because
you know what it is when white people do it, they go overboard with it. They don't do it subtly. You know,
I always figure it just stung more because they've actually done it. Like they've actually looted and plundered the culture, so it's not funny.
I think that's it. I mean, you have, better or worse, what was considered the dominant society,
right?
Which is forcefully, taken slaves and abused and ran over every native culture that they come across, whether it's in North America, South America, the Middle East, Asia.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't ignore it. It's huge. It's not that old. We're talking 100, 200, 300 years. So yeah, the wounds are pretty fucking fresh. If we were talking about something like, food or beer or alcohol, that's pretty non-confrontational. But if we're talking about dress and social norms and
some food is getting there because some people out here in California are pretty upset at Taco Bell. It's becoming a thing.
I mean, Taco Bell's a problem itself because that's like the corporate aspect of it, at least.
Yeah.
And Popeyes.
I think a lot of that turns people off.
I don't think we can really, as much as we want it, I don't think we can really take the fried chicken argument too far. I don't think that's really.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that the spokesperson is a black woman who's pretending to be the CEO, and then a lot of people online is like, okay, how come the spokesperson is a old jolly black woman, and the CEO is like a middle-aged white woman? Nobody.
Is that really happening?
Yeah, that was getting a little traction on my Facebook.
I didn't know she was pretending to be the CEO. Oh, yeah.
No, she was the spokesperson, and the people was thinking she was the CEO.
Oh, well, that's on them. You should always know.
Yeah,
white person running.
It's a bit petty.
Yeah, they were just being silly. I thought she actually was claiming to be the CEO. That would have been the case.
Yeah, that would have been pretty awkward. But I remember people found Colonel Sanders pretty offensive, and that was kind of
Yeah, that's true.
But that's way different than what Norm was saying. But.
Right.
Yeah,
culture. Yeah, it's a thing. Culture is I think it's the next battleground. Like when the French election, I forgot we have missed a few things, but a Trump-like candidate in other countries, I think, makes way more sense than in the U.S. because they actually have cultures that they can actually claim to want to protect. In the U.S., it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know, like American culture is so broad, and I don't even know if you can really, pin it down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is an American culture. I mean, there's American democratic values. There's American, but those are all drawn from Europe.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the thing, especially in the concept of, larger America, what's portrayed, and societal. I mean, a lot of, I'm talking white America.
Right.
It's all drawn from different cultures in Europe. Whether we're talking about
it just seems like nationalism makes the least amount of sense in America. Like of all the countries to have, a nationalist candidate,
Right.
America
And
is the
even
worst.
most white Americans, they're a generation or two out now from the fucking boat themselves.
Right.
So, and I think it's going to continue to dilute over time, of course. But I think our democratic process. You have things from all over Europe, but specifically France and England, and then the white Americans who are here have come over from mostly Western Europe, some from Central
Yeah.
Europe.
Like Le Pen was a bad candidate for a lot of reasons, but I think candidates like her in countries like France, Germany, Greece, and these places, trying to fight to hold on to their culture, actually have a little ground to stand on, because those are places that have history and a people that have claim to that land. Things that just don't really resonate here in the States.
Yeah, and I think at the same time you have to remember a lot of Western Europe has only been put together in the last 500 years, which to Americans sounds like a long time, but it's not historically, or in the terms of Europe.
Right.
The borders of France and most of Western Europe have changed quite a bit within the last century. So, and they also have languages and stuff like that. But, having spent a decent amount of time in Europe, I can also say that, mostly the stuff has changed since the 1970s, 60s. But, Europe is not these countries in Europe, especially Western Europe, they're not solely homogenous countries anymore. And with, their native white population or whatever they see, these are ethnically diverse, not to American standards, but they're relatively ethnically diverse, with people from former colonies and all over the world. So it's not just some,
Do you see? This is kind of out of left field, but it's about Europe. Do you see a downside to the EU at all, or do you think that all the nations should try to be part of it?
But I believe in a federal Europe, but I think that I don't think the European Union goes far enough.
Really? You don't think it goes far enough?
I don't think they're entwined enough politically or economically. I hope they get to that point, but I think that's one of the big issues. The economies.
Some
of this you can't pick, but the economies aren't the same.
Pipe dream. It seems kind of like a pipe dream to economically entwine countries like Germany and Greece that are so far apart.
Yeah, but I think if you had more open borders in terms of products and goods, I think a more leveling of the field would be possible. And even between their immediate neighbors, it seems like the purchasing power of the euro, and it varies greatly between the countries.
Right. Well, you could just say Germany and just about anyone. I think France is closest, but
probably France, and also the like Denmark and those countries they're fairly wealthy and stable.
The Scandinavian countries are doing pretty well, but Southern Europe though.
Yeah, I think they had a much harder time with, like Spain. I'm very familiar with. They had an extremely serious housing crisis, but they also produce a lot of stuff, and they're also really into tech now. So it just takes time, but a lot of the recession in America, the stock market, and also their own debt crises with loans and mortgages and stuff like that really hurt their economies. Germany just, it's a much larger country. They produce a lot more stuff, and they were, much stricter with their finances. So obviously they bear the storm better than their neighbors.
Right.
And I mean, the same can be said of, most of the northern economies in Europe. But, I think with a greater with greater economic and political integration, I think the European Union can work.
Huh. Interesting. All right, well, that's time. Congratulations to us. We made it through a whole cast without mentioning Trump and Russia one time. That's it. Next week, we're going to have to go pretty hard at it because we completely omitted
next week we'll have some stuff to go over, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. If he actually testifies. We'll see.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Later.